Doctor Strange has a lot of secrets hidden up his sleeves and under his cloak of levitation, but the master of the mystic arts doesn't have nearly as many secrets as the Easter eggs and references hidden throughout his first installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The movie, released in 2016, is still giving us much to think about in terms of the past, present, and future of the MCU. And while we all look forward to the coming of Avengers Infinity War, let's look back on this movie that's still providing fanboys with new Easter eggs to discover.
Allow me to help you.
And while you journey into the mystic realm with Dr. Stephen Strange, click on the red subscribe button to keep watching more videos stored away in ScreenRant's Sanctum Sanctorum.
It's Groundhog Day!
Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is the classic Harold Ramis-directed movie in which Bill Murray plays a moderately well-known weatherman who is forced to relive the same day over and over again. Now, what does this have to do with your average Marvel movie other than Bill Murray's alter ego of a weatherman ending with the suffix man? You know, like other superheroes, like Spider-Man. Well, with Doctor Strange, our hero dares to study the forbidden mystical art of time travel and unlocks hidden talents that we hadn't yet seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While Ant-Man got trippy with our concept of size, Doctor Strange stretches what we thought to be possible with time and space. And although the visual aspect of Doctor Strange's finale is one of a kind in the MCU, we've seen this type of storytelling device in, you guessed it, Groundhog Day.
What the hell?
It's obvious now, but it wasn't until fairly recently that eagle-eyed fans were able to make the connection between the 1993 comedy and the more recent MCU installment. When Stephen Strange's car crashes in the first act of the movie, his watch stops on February 2nd. Whether anyone noticed in theaters, it wasn't fully picked up by the general public until February 2018, when director Scott Derrickson confirmed on social media.
Excelsior.
Stan Lee. It wouldn't be a Marvel movie without a Stan Lee cameo, and while it's never a blink and you'll miss it performance, he's always there long enough to make an impression, but he never stays long enough to really make a dent in the story. We suppose that's a good thing, in that he's usually given something humorous to do.
Are you Tony Stank?
But he never distracts from the action at hand. Still, for a guy as likable and with as much of a connection to the material as Lee, you always hope he'll be given something fun to do. While his shining moment in Doctor Strange isn't anything more than innocent bystanders sitting on a bus while Strange and Mordo blow past them, his appearance comes with an Easter egg that deepens the details of the Strangeverse. Here, Lee is holding a copy of Aldous Huxley's 1954 book, The Doors of Perception. While it may not be as well remembered to modern readers, Huxley's extended essay was a big influence on the counterculture that blossomed out of the 1960s, and its ideas on the capacity and potential of the human mind no doubt served as a big influence on Stan Lee and Steve Ditko as they developed and realized the world of Stephen Strange.
Don't even flying dead stick.
Potential team-up. Any superhero movie worth its weight in vibranium knows to toss in a throwaway reference to other heroes and storylines. It keeps the hardcore fans invested and usually goes unnoticed by casual viewers, and thus doesn't serve as a distraction. Basically, it helps more than it hurts. And when more casual fans look back on the older movies after watching later installments, they'll be enthralled by the hidden messages they may have missed. Maybe when we get to the Doctor Strange sequel or a future Avengers film, we'll all look back on the following reference with awe. Or maybe you'll just think, duh, that was obvious. Well, regardless of your abilities to tell where the story is going, the scene leading up to his fateful car accident, where Doctor Strange is reviewing potential patients over his speakerphone, might be packed with more references than you originally thought, turning them down as hopeless cases. Strange dismisses one possible surgical patient whose ailment sounds pretty familiar, a colonel in the US military whose spinal cord was damaged in an experimental armor/battlesuit accident. We all know James Rhodey Rhodes was paralyzed after his mid-flight fall in Captain America: Civil War. So could this be foreshadowing to a long-awaited Strange Iron Man team-up? Let's wait and see.
I see through you!
Psychedelic art. With the counterculture in the 60s and 70s, pop culture finally caught up to a level of experimentation that the visual arts had already been exploring for years. Artists like Salvador Dali were expanding what we thought possible with perception and perspective, causing us to question what even constituted art. M.C. Escher's mathematical and measured out landscapes hurt the mind as viewers try to figure out what is up and what is down, and it's obvious that the crazy geometric shapes made by the folding and reflective cityscapes, when the Ancient One takes Doctor Strange on a series of mind-bending training sessions through big cities, these graphically challenging masterpieces gave original artist Steve Ditko the inspiration he needed to find the visual tone of Doctor Strange's world and the mind-blowing dreamscapes of his trippy, mystic adventures.
Teach me.
Even after all these decades since Strange's very first appearance in the Strange Tales comic book series, director Scott Derrickson felt that Ditko's surreal artistry still hadn't been brought to life on the big screen. With his movie, he said, "I don't think visual effects were ready to try and imitate him, but VFX finally caught up with Steve Ditko." Piper at the Gates. While we're on the subject of trippy, the instrumentals and vocals of Pink Floyd do for music what Dali was doing for visual arts. It's a surreal rock that captures the thoughtful and explorational changes the music industry was going through in the 60s and 70s. Naturally, in the drive leading up to Doctor Strange's car crash that sets his character's journey in motion, we can hear Pink Floyd's Interstellar Overdrive, a song from their 1967 album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Doctor Strange actually served as inspiration for the band, with the character making a hidden appearance on their second album cover and being brought up in their song Cymbeline. In the lyrics, "And Doctor Strange is always changing size." In keeping the Floyd and Marvel connection alive, Benedict Cumberbatch made a guest appearance at a concert hosted by guitarist David Gilmour a couple weeks before Doctor Strange's 2016 release date, in which the star sang the band's hit song Comfortably Numb. And speaking of bands connected to the Sorcerer Supreme and vice versa, we mentioned previously that Stan Lee's cameo featured his bystander character reading from Aldous Huxley's The Doors of Perception. Well, for your information, the title of Huxley's work is from where the seminal 60s band The Doors got their name.
We're not savages.
Undeath and Undestruction. When directing the movie, Scott Derrickson pulled a Spielberg, and just like when the latter was restoring E.T. for its anniversary re-release several years ago, he removed all the guns from the picture. Derrickson decided to craft a superhero movie that didn't feature guns in the frames. According to an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Derrickson stated that the purpose was more of a statement about superhero movies in general. Guns are usually an obstacle to a superpowered superhero. They're oftentimes one of the only ways an average human can get a leg up on our hero. But according to Derrickson, there's nothing less magical than a gun. Getting rid of any kind of traditional hardware was necessary to make it about more than destructiveness, which is a common theme within the action sequences and set pieces of the film.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
The ending itself, through its use of time travel and slow motion, is more about rebuilding the city than it is about death and destruction, which is refreshing in a genre where most climaxes involve heroes attempting to stop planet-destroying weapons, planet-destroying beings, or planet-destroying planets. We're looking at you, the eventual appearance of Darkseid in a Superman movie coming to a theater near us several years from now, we hope.
You will now receive the power to destroy the one who betrayed us.
Mindless Ones. When the villain Caecilius is sucked away towards the dark dimension, there's a chance you saw him and his henchmen transform into shadowy beings with beams of red light coming out of their eyes, like some kind of dark version of Cyclops from X-Men. This was not some random side effect of the mystical world they were getting pulled into. This is likely their transformation into the Mindless Ones. Doctor Strange might have been able to defeat them in their old forms, but the Mindless Ones are known to be incredibly powerful entities with the ability to bring destruction wherever they go. Hailing from the dark dimension, the Mindless Ones have a hefty center of gravity, allowing them to withstand most obstacles. They don't make much noise, which is all the more threatening as their sheer numbers overtake and overpower their enemies. Caecilius himself seems to become one of these creatures as he is absorbed into Dormammu's dimension, and if he loses all identity in joining a Borg-like army of Mindless Ones, there's no telling what type of terror Dormammu's army will unleash upon the world in the Doctor Strange sequels.
It's the end. and the beginning.
If Caecilius is in fact a mindless one, would we ever be able to tell it was Mads Mikkelsen underneath that dense outer shell and behind that glowing red eye? We'll see.
I see they made you master of this sanctum.
Brother Voodoo. In one of the more subdued cameos, a character from the Doctor Strange comics made a brief appearance, but only under his alter ego. He wasn't flat out named in the movie, but according to director Scott Derrickson, an actor named Mark Anthony Brighton was playing a larger role than just that of one of the Ancient Ones' guardians. In the film, Derrickson assigned this character the name of Daniel Drum. True fans might recognize Drum as the alter ego of Brother Voodoo, a deep-cut character from the comics. Derrickson revealed the guy's identity during a Q&A following the release of the film. He stated that Daniel Drum was killed by Caecilius, setting the stage for the character to be resurrected as Brother Voodoo in a later installment, just as he appears in the comics. Derrickson explained that when you go to make a movie like this, you have this huge buffet of characters. I don't see a Doctor Strange franchise without him. Spirit-bound to his twin brother Jericho, Brother Voodoo is a Haitian superhero who eventually becomes the new Sorcerer Supreme. It'll be interesting to see if the MCU follows this arc as they delve deeper into the Doctor Strange mythos.
Vaulting boots of Valtorr.
Valtorr. Valtorr is the name that gets thrown around a lot by Strange and his associates. Valtorr is first mentioned under the title of The Vapors of Valtorr in Doctor Strange's first appearance, Strange Tales number 115. There have never been any footwear in the comics like the vaulting boots of Valtorr that are mentioned in the movie, but Valtorr's name is lent to many magic artifacts throughout the comics. Other mystical objects also have their origins in classic issues, like the Wand of Watum, which first showed up in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 2. Famous for the first adventure to feature Doctor Strange and the Web-Slinger in the same comic book. As Steve Ditko created both characters, it's awesome to see him play with the styles of both superheroes in the same panels. The Cloak of Levitation has also been around since Strange Tales number 127, in Dormammu's second appearance, but even the experts at the website Den of Geek don't believe the cloak has ever been given as much of a mind of its own as it has in the movie. Most importantly, Doctor Strange's magic Eye of Agamotto is used by the Doctor to manipulate the time around him. Fans strongly believe this to be the Time Stone, one of the Infinity Stones for which Thanos is searching.
What's this, my mantra?
Shamballa. Shamballa is a great classic rock song by Three Dog Night and a great joke in the Doctor Strange movie. In the midst of Stephen Strange's training, Mordo hands him a browned scrap of paper with the mysterious text Shamballa scratched onto it. Strange and we, the audience, assume it's some kind of awe-inspiring magical word, but Mordo clarifies it's the Wi-Fi password. However, in the Hindu and Tibetan Buddhist religions, Shamballa is a sacred kingdom that's home to legendary texts and is a site of great knowledge. It's also the title of a 1986 Strange story in which the Sorcerer Supreme deals with the passing of the Ancient One. Sure, Shamballa is just a bit played for laughs in the movie, but if the characters know about it enough to name a Wi-Fi password after it, maybe it does serve some importance to the story going forward. And perhaps the movie is making a connection between the ancient source of knowledge and our new unlimited source of knowledge, the internet. Maybe Doctor Strange just needs to ask himself the same question Three Dog Night asks in their song. How does your light shine in the halls of Shamballa?
A what?
You might have a gift for the mystic arts, but you still have much to learn.
And that's the end of today's lesson in the mystic arts. Did you learn something new about the world's most popular medical professional turned public figure not named Dr. Oz? Comment below and tune into the channel to uncover more supreme content for your viewing pleasure. See you next time, and Excelsior!